Hey everybody, this is Joby, and today I wanted to do an update on my build. I used to always talk about I don't chase meta, and actually, I'm wearing a meta set now. So, what I'm wearing is False God's Prophet and just the normal version, and Mother Sorrow. I do dual lightning staffs of Mother Sorrow, and then I'm wearing a heavy Zan Visage and False God, not perfected. Okay, and shoulders, same thing. Zan or Zan, as you call it. And the jewelry is Mother Sorrow. Everything is spell damage glyphs. Max Magica glyphs on everything else. And I went ahead and transmuted all my gear to Divines. And the in my character, I'm running the Shadow Mundus, which increases critical damage and healing by 17%. And then with the Divines, gives me 9% each, so I've got a lot more critical damage. In my stats, I lost a lot of Magicka from taking off Necropotence, but it doesn't really matter because it's not max Magicka anymore for how hard you hit. It's a combination of spell damage and your max attribute. My spell damage is only 2,500. It's kind of low, but when I buff up, it's higher. So I'm going to get away from this dummy right now because he will, it'll aggro him if I buff up. So see if I hit my critical surge, then I do the cast, and then I hit this, change bars. We look at my character now, and I have 2,302 spell damage, and my critical is 69%, which is pretty good. You know, my spell damage when I hit this dummy, or if I'm in a group with trials, my spell damage will go up. Especially if somebody's wearing Oli or Spell Power Cure, my spell damage will be like 2,700, something like that, which is great. And what I really want to show you guys is how much harder I'm hitting, which is very apparent. And I'm going to let my buffs go down first. Okay, so another thing is I use Critical Surge, but I also use these spell pots, and it overlaps a little bit because these are you get Major Sorcery, and that increased my spell damage by 20%. And Crit Surge also gives Major Sorcery, but it also gives you Major Prophecy. I mean, you get both of those in here, but might as well have like a overlap. I make tons of these potions, and I also have, since I'm an Argonian, I also have something very excellent. If we look at the skills, go down to Argonian. You know, a lot of people don't understand, or they don't know that you get this. Okay, so it increases your max Magicka by 1,000, but also when you drink a potion, you restore 4,000 of each of the attributes. So every time I hit a potion, I get 4,000 health, Magicka, and stamina back right away. I'm also, with my alchemy, I have all of the passives. But this is probably one of the most important passives in the game. People always tell me they don't want to do alchemy, they don't have a need for it, but you have to be level 50 to have all three of these passives. But when using potions, resulting effects last 33% longer. And that's huge. It is massive. I learned about that from Outcast, and you know, he just talks about it is so important. And if we look at the potions, you'll notice that all these are for 47.6 seconds, and that the cooldown time is 45 seconds. So you can just go 45 seconds and hit another potion. You can keep them running all the time. I guarantee you that any elite player that runs trials, they're running potions constantly. They just keep that going all the time. The overlap doesn't really matter from the Crit Surge. Crit Surge heals me for a certain amount. And I'm going to show you my skills, what I'm running, what I changed it to. If we look on my, this will be my buff bar. I switched over to the Charged Atronach on this bar, and then I still use Thunderous Rage on this bar. But the cost for this ultimate is 212, and then the cost for this ultimate for the Atronach is only 170. So, there's a lot of reasons to run the Atronach. I mean, in a group, it's amazing because you get the synergy, which is charged lightning, and it'll give you major berserk, and it increases your damage by 10% for 8 seconds. That's just flat damage. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be flame or lightning or anything. It's just all your damage, even light shots, heavy shots, everything, if they hit the synergy. So if you ever have a Atronach that's a friendly Atronach and is placed down, make sure you hit the synergy because it gives you major berserk. That's a pretty big, pretty huge thing just for pressing 2 buttons at the same time. Now this ends up being like, if they took every bit of damage, because it'll do 8,652 shock damage, and it stuns the enemy. It won't stun a boss, but it'll still hit them. And it starts hitting the closest enemy for 3,709 shock damage every second. And sometimes it does a 8,652 shock damage to the enemies around. But like if you drop it on the boss and it does that 8,652, and then it'll keep doing the 3,709 to the closest enemy, that's like 79,000 damage. Whereas Thunderous Rage, for me, I have a lightning staff, so it lasts 2 seconds longer. It's about 70 something. Which, this will do anybody that's within the boundaries of the Thunderous Rage will receive damage, whereas the Atronach, they can kind of, get away from it. But another thing that the Atronach is really good for is if you're dueling or if you're in PvP and you drop that down, you can like sort of hide behind it. People get mad, but whatever. And it's got a lot of health. It's got probably 30,000 health. So if they start attacking the Atronach, that's game over. You just lay it on them; they'll be dead. But I do like the Atronach. I think it's great. Either I'll run that, maybe. If I do go into PvP in this event, I'll change it to negate and be dropping negates like crazy, which I love. Negates are awesome. People are looking for negate sorcerers constantly to run in their group, and I think it's great. So this is my main heal, is Critical Surge. Love this. Been using it forever. I won't take it off. While it's active, I mean, I can get major sorcery from that will increase my weapon and spell damage by 20% from the pots. But while it's active, dealing critical damage heals you for 3,497 health, and it can occur once every second. So if you lay down your AoE and people are inside that, or mobs or bosses or ads or whatever, you're just getting healed all the time. And then with the potions, I hit a potion on my Argonian, I can survive, stay alive. The first thing that I changed, I took off my Volatile Familiar, and I'm really happy about that. That little dude was great when he was back in the day, did a lot of damage. I mean, just hella damage. But they nerfed him 30%. I lost 10,000 DPS just right away. So with Channeled Acceleration, you bend time and space around you to gain Major Expedition for 12 seconds and Minor Force for 36 seconds. Increasing your movement speed by 30% and critical damage by 10%. So I wouldn't need to run Medusa because I have this. And, I guess that's Major Force from Medusa. I'd have to check. But I'm not going to farm that. I might. Who knows? But Mother Sorrow is great for me for right now. That's pretty much what everybody runs. Some people run Medusa, but False God, Zan, Mother Sorrow, it is pretty much the meta for Magicka characters right now. So this has a cast time of 1.3 seconds, which is really irritating. But the thing is, I ran it on my Warden, and I'm kind of used to it. You just use it to buff up. Then when you need it, it's great to run faster when you get the Major Expedition. 12 seconds is awesome. And the critical damage by 10% is fantastic. So, you're like empowering everything. So you just buff up with that. And then, of course, Hardened Ward is 11,000. Damage for 6 seconds is shield. Can only be 60% of your health. But 11,000 is quite a big shield. And I'll show you something in just a second. My old standbys, Liquid Lightning and Blockade of Storms. Very important for using my trade in my weapon is charged. So it's like a guaranteed concussed, and then they will definitely be set off balance for 7 seconds unless they have off balance immunity, which means they already just were off balance. You can see the little swirls around their head, and it's super important to heavy and light attack them. Whenever they have that, you get back resources and you do 70% more damage. Alright, so I basically buff up on this bar. I'll hit Channel Acceleration and then Critical Surge. Probably then Hardened Ward and then Liquid Lightning and Blockade of Storm. So I laid down all of my AoEs. The next thing I'm going to do is just immediately put out a Haunting Curse. I also changed Dietrich Prey to Haunting Curse. This does hella damage too. It's crazy. It's curse an enemy with Destructive Rune, dealing 10,080 magic damage. And then 4,908 magic damage to everybody around for 3.5 seconds. And then it'll continue to haunt them and explode a second time for 10,000. And then all the nearby enemies is 4,908. That's after 8 seconds. You can only have one available, so you want to make sure and time it. Don't keep putting it out because it just cancels it if it didn't blow up the second time. This is the one everybody uses in PvP. My friend Joker told me he has a friend, and he always says, I'm going to put the stink on them. And it is the stink. You get that on you, can't be purged. It's going to be, you know, the 10,000, and then unless you die, they will receive another 10,000. So it's a definite staple. I think it's great. Works really well. Crystal Frags, of course, staple of sorcerers. Does a lot of damage. And it's your next non-ultimate ability within 3 seconds. And it's, if you cast a magic ability, there's a 35% chance of causing the next one to be instant. And you deal 66% more damage. And it costs 50% less. So I never hit it unless it lights up. I'll be hitting it here in just a second to show you guys. On this dummy, I'm getting like 50 or 60,000 damage from a Crystal Frags, especially when it lights up and it crits. So it's definitely something Sorcs want to use. And Inner Light, the only reason I use it is to get a 5% Magicka boost, and it also increased my spell critical rating. And you know, on this bar is my main damage bar, so when I switch to this bar, I right away get more Magicka, and then I also get a higher spell critical rating. So that means I'll be critting more, and this build's all about crit. I already told you about Thunderous Rage. Whenever I get that, I'll put it out. Now this is another Psijic Order skill, elemental weapon. Does a ton of damage. All you do is I'd hit LB and then start light and heavy, or just start light attacking, and when you use it within 2 seconds, it gives you 7,258 magic damage and applies burning, concussion, or chilled status effect. So when they're on fire or when they're concussed, like if you hit an enemy on fire, you do a lot more damage. And when they're concussed, you get the off balance. Chill, I believe it stuns them. So it's just a win-win. Now if we look, of course I use Crushing Shock for interruption. Does a lot of damage, and it's a great spammable. And then I do the free one. Now there's another thing, you know, if we go to Psijic Order, I had done Psijic Order a long time, and I just used to run the ultimate. But now I can just take that off. I used to run Temporal Guard on my back bar, and then I always had the shield because I have this, which is Concentrated Barrier. So I got a 5,000 damage shield for that. But the nice thing is that since I changed to have a skill on each bar, now I have this barrier. So you know, if I'm doing like Channeled Acceleration and then Hardened Ward, and I'm blocking, you know, it's like 15, 20,000, like 16,000 damage shield. So it helps with survivability, which is like something really important. If you're just doing a lot of damage but you're super fragile, it's not good. Alright, so let's just go ahead and do this. I turned down the volume, so you can't really hear any music box sounds or anything like that. Probably nobody really cares anyway, but just turn down the sound so you won't be able to hear the Atronach's noises, but I think it doesn't really matter. So first I'm going to hit Channel Acceleration, Crit Surge. In combat I'll use that, and then we'll just start laying down the damage. Now you're going to see I don't use any like I do weaving, but you don't really see me do animation canceling, because the problem is that I have so much lag. Now you can see I'm just critting like crazy. And a lot of damage is going out here. I'll put out my Thunderous Rage. Do this. Switch back. Alright, so we do this. This is irritating, but it's okay. I don't need to put a hardened ward while I'm doing the dummy, but, you know, just to show you my rotation, do the free one. Now that was 58,000 right there. Okay. We'll do this. Here we go. Just the light shots. Look at the 27s and 2014. I mean, it's quite a bit. We do this. Got 58,000 on the crystal frag. If I just spam crystal frags and weave, I'll just get like 33, 33, 14. See, those are insane. Hit a potion. Go back. Buff up. Do channel acceleration. I'm still getting used to this rotation, but I do like it. So you can see 58, 35, 35, 35. Now, I won't be doing anything like this kind of damage. Now, if we just run away, I'm not going to torture you guys by killing the dummy. If I am in a group, I'll be getting those same buffs. You can see all those buffs for 2 minutes. A lot of people cheese dummies. They'll get all those buffs like that, and then they'll go into fighting, you know, a 6 mil. And when they fight the 6 mil, they'll still have the buffs on there. So they'll have the appearance that they did a lot of damage. So that's 30,000 DPS just for that little mini, you know, 1 minute and 23 seconds, which doesn't count as a parse. I mean, even the trial dummy as a parse, I wouldn't think that's a very good representation, because you might not have a complete group. But if I get on the 6 mil, it would probably be 27,000. So I went up by a lot, at least 10,000 TPS. So that's the build for this guy and what I'm running now. If you want to get False God, you have to do trials. And it's kind of hard to get the armor now because everybody's keeping the stuff for themselves for their sticker book. A couple of months down the road, people will be just giving that stuff away like crazy. They won't need it, which is great. But if you want False God, you have to do trials. If you want to do trials, you either have to join a guild or you have to go Pug, which is pickup group in Craglorn. Now, I showed everybody before what to do. You just go to Craglorn and you put looking for group, you know, damage dealer or DPS, looking for group, and then put normal SS, normal Sunspire. Or if you're a tank or you're a healer, that's a great way to do it. To go ahead and just run it as a tank or run it as a healer. And that way you can get in quicker. But if they'll pick you up and they won't be mean to you. Join a guild is a great way. Be active, talk in the chat. Problem is, if you join a guild and you just never talk, you never say anything, nobody's going to come give you a personal invitation. They're going to think you just want to be left alone. So, you know, if you want that, you need to join a guild. And Zan is pretty hard. Scale Caller Peak. And on Vet, it's not easy. Got to have people that know the mechanics. So, you know, I'm showing you all this stuff. The only reason I have it is, you know, I'm just an average player. But I have a lot of friends that are really good. And if I ask them to help me, they'll be more than happy to. And it's always been like that. It's not just about the YouTube channel. I've always just been friendly and, you know people, try to help people with what I know, and then they'll help me back. That's what this game's basically all about. You know, it's an MMO, so we all just want to play together and stuff like that. And people talking about people are so toxic, I just don't see it. There's nobody in our guild really that's toxic. And I think it's awesome. So all you need to do is join a guild. Look in the guild finder for a guild that is doing trials that says, you know, we'll help people and teach you the mechanics. Once you know those mechanics, it's like a skill, you know, you have a skill set. And then you can help other people and you can tell them the mechanics and stuff like that. So that's my build. That's what I'm running now. If you have any questions about it, about how to get the gear, what to do to give you the specifics, I'll be more than happy to help you. And yeah, I'm really happy with this new build. I'm going to go check it out today in the line of fire. We'll probably be doing Sanctum Ophidia in the guild today, I would imagine. And that's a fun trial. All right, so please give me a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Leave a comment in the comment section if there's anything you'd like to see. If you have an idea about a video, if I like your idea, I'll make a video about it. Join me on Discord, the most chill Discord server on the planet. There's a link in the description. If you're on Xbox One North American server, you can add me as a friend and send me a message. You can join my guild. My guild's name is Upper Echelon Mediocrity. Had a lot of people join recently. We've got 311 members, 1 member pending, and 41 members online. So the guild is filling up. We'll be at 500, which is max. But that's okay. I got some people who hadn't been online in a while. I'll just, I'll kick them out. And if they want to come back, they can. All right. So until that time, let's get paid.